wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic podcast. This is Steve coming to you from the Stoa in Conway, Arkansas, and thank you to Torben for joining as the latest patron to help keep the lights on here at the Sunday Stoic Stoa. Hope things are well. We're gearing up here for a new semester at the university where I'm a lecturer, and it's going to be an interesting one. The obstacle is becoming the way. We're trying to navigate around complex issues relating to the COVID-19 crisis, and I'm sure there will be roadblocks that pop up unexpectedly, and it will be a good test of this philosophy, overcoming, adapting, and trying not to lose my cool as I progress through the semester. This week we're going to hear from Epictetus, a couple of readings from Epictetus, and I'm focusing on what I'm calling the grandeur of life, an aspect of Stoicism that we often neglect. We worry a lot about like the boot camp kind of things when it comes to Stoicism, like holding yourself accountable, getting up early, challenging yourself, and blah, blah, blah. But we need to remember there is some solace or spirituality here as well. And the way I view that is appreciating that we are part of this cosmic web. We are part of the whole, as you often hear if you've ever watched Cosmos, we are star stuff. And as Carl Sagan says, something like, we are the universe experiencing itself. And these are things that I think no matter where you come from a religious or spiritual side, you can really appreciate this. This is something that everyone can come together on. We're going to hear, as I said, from Epictetus. He was one of the more religious Stoics that we have records of, in terms of he really focuses on the relationship of the Stoic God to humanity. Now, one thing that a lot of modern Stoics will have issues with Epictetus is he focuses a lot on teleology, meaning he has this idea that things are made for humans. The world is here for humans. Animals are here to give us milk, to give us food, to give us something to plow the fields with. Color is here for our eyes to see. What's the point of color if they're not here for our eyes to see? That kind of an idea that things are all made for us. And of course, we now know that humans arrived pretty late in the game when it comes to life forms on Earth, and we know that our sun, first of all, our Earth is not in the center of the solar system. Our sun is not in the center of the Milky Way, and the Milky Way is not in the center of anything either. So it's unlikely that that all this is made for us, that the farthest reaches of the cosmos that we'll never be able to touch were put there just for our enjoyment. But we can still realize our position, realize our interconnectedness, and find great joy in this. So if you are a religious person, you can relate to this Stoic God in that sense. But if you're not, remember, God can stand in as a term for the cosmos, for the universe, for the interconnected web, for the all, as we might say. A paraphrase of Book 4, Chapter 7 of the Discourses of Epictetus on freedom from fear. What is it about a tyrant that frightens you? The guards, you say, and their swords, and those who can keep you from entering. Why is it then that a child is not afraid of the guards or a tyrant? Is it because the child does not understand? What if a man comes to a tyrant with a wish to leave this world? Is he afraid of the guards? No. He wishes to make use of their services. So if a person is neither wishing for death nor clinging to life, what prevents them from approaching the tyrant without fear? Nothing. What if the same person has the same opinion about their property and their children, and treats all externals
like kids who are playing with a ball. They care about the pleasure the game brings, not about the ball itself. What threat, then, is a tyrant to them? If madness can make a man not fear these things, or as with the Galileans their habits, should not then reason be able to lead you there as well? God has made all things in the universe, as well as the universe itself, free from hindrance. Irrational animals cannot comprehend this administration, but we can understand these things and see that we are part of the universe, subservient to the whole. The man who understands this will not be disturbed by tyrants, guards, or swords, nor fever or poverty. Spend a little of the time you have left attending to your own ruling faculty. Consider what it is that you possess, where it came from. As long as you do not do this, the ruling faculty will be withered and neglected.
A paraphrase of Book 1 of the Discourses of Epictetus on Providence.
God has made irrational animals to make use of appearances, but he has made us to understand the use of appearances. God made humans to be a spectator of God and his works, and not only a spectator, but an interpreter. Therefore, it is shameful for a person to begin and end where the irrational animals do, but we should start where they do and end where nature ends within us. And that means contemplating and understanding as well as living a life conformable to nature. Take care not to die without having been a spectator to these things.
The Discourses of Epictetus, Book 4, Chapter 1.
After seeing the spectacle, when your time is up, will you not leave and give adoration and thanks for what you have seen and heard?
So remember, the Stoics divide their philosophy up into 3 parts. Ethics, where we spend most of our time on this show talking about how to live in relation to others. Then there's also physics, which is the understanding of the natural world and how we can live according to nature. And then also there is logic, which is debate, how to craft an argument, and how not to be deceived by false arguments. The readings this week focus mostly on physics, our relationship to the universe. Regardless of how that universe came about or if there is a divine all-knowing reason behind it, as Epictetus would suggest with the use of the word God. Of course, modern Stoics often would not view it that way. We often see the universe as being divine in a sense, and what I mean by that is worthy of our respect and awe, but not necessarily with a plan behind it, right? But that just depends on your background, where you're coming from, how you're approaching Stoicism. But what can we see, what can we take from these readings? Well, he's saying, first of all, he's using a little bit of logic here too. He's saying, okay, you are afraid of a tyrant. Why? Because you don't want to die, and you know that a tyrant can just snap their fingers and have your head cut off. Their guards are standing there with swords. There's the tyrant sitting there. Any false move on your part, and you could be gone. And he says, well, would a child be afraid of the tyrant? They might just toddle on in there and babble away and jibber jabber and not worry about the swords of the tyrant. Okay, why not? Well, maybe the kid's just uneducated. But who else might go in there and not be worried? Well, someone who's not afraid to die. Maybe someone wants to die. They might walk in there and punch the tyrant in the nose, and then, it's basically suicide by guard. The guards chop their head off and they're done. They got what they wanted. They were not afraid. They had exactly what they wanted to have happen. Now, so, okay, what's the point of that? Well, the point is, the tyrant on their own and their guards are not something to be afraid of. It's your perception. It's what you want to have happen that's causing you trouble. It's the way you're viewing the situation. So he says, for example, then someone who's also, as he would put it, mad, won't have any trouble with the tyrant. They won't care. Also the Galileans, which might be referring to early Christians here, who may have, stood up against the Romans without fear. He says they do that out of habit. So why couldn't we do it out of reason? Because we know that through reason that we are fated to die one day. That's out of our hands. That's part of physics. We know that there is so much we don't control. So we know that life and death are out of our power. We would prefer to live, but we know that we can't cling to it, and we can't hide from death forever. There's nowhere we can hide where death won't find us. So he says, treat life, or go. Let's just start here. Treat going to see the tyrant like you're playing a game. Don't be so concerned with what happens to you. Just do the best job you can. He likens life to kids playing with a ball, or in the actual reading he says playing with shells, a game of shells. But you're playing a game with a ball, and the ball's not really important. It's playing the game that's important. So he says, treat your own life, treat your possessions, your family like the ball. Yes, it's good to interact with. That's kind of the point of life. But the point is really your interactions and how well you play the game. And you're going to enjoy time playing that game. But that ball might pop. That ball might be taken away from you. The ball is not the point. And that seems a little harsh, but when you think about your child or something, and that's something I may never fully grasp when it comes to this really pure form of Stoic ideology. But the point is the game, how well you play it. That tyrant can pop the ball at any point. That tyrant can take your life at any point. That tyrant could give you wealth and give you life and say, you are pardoned of all your crimes. Go forth and live in the castle with me. That tyrant could do any of those things. That tyrant kind of represents the will of fate. Fate is going to kill you. Fate will occasionally reward you. Don't worry about fate. Play the game. Live your life as well as you can. But then we go from there to say, okay, in the other readings, not only should we be unafraid, but we have to remember what it is we're here for. What's the meaning of life from a Stoic perspective? It's to be as human as you can, meaning craft those special faculties that you have that we don't see in other animals. Craft those faculties to as much, to the point of perfection as much as you can. And what are those faculties? Well, that's our use of reason, our use of being able to judge things as they really are. So he says animals just make use of impressions. There's food, I will eat it. There's a mate, I will mate. But we as humans can think things through more thoroughly and think about why things are the way they are and how we ought to act. And we can go beyond our evolutionary programming and do more. And that's what he's suggesting we do. But at the same time, we need to step back and look up at the night sky and say, holy crap, it's amazing that we are here. We have the ability to ponder how easily we could not be here. The chance events that led to the formation of our universe, to our planet, to the existence of life itself. We can appreciate the magnificence of life, the intricate nature of life and our connection to the cosmos, the fact that the particles that make up our planet and our bodies come from exploded supernovas. We can take this all in, this amazing story of the history of nature, and we can feel connected to the whole and know that we'll always be a part of the whole. When we die, we are transformed into other organisms. Our nutrients cycle through the universe. Our energy spreads throughout for all eternity. And that's how we can take the grandeur of life of Epictetus, this giving thanks for the spectacle. Make sure not just to focus on controlling your anger and not overeating and being as productive as you can be, but step out occasionally. If you are a religious person, give thanks to God. If you are more secular, just give thanks. Be thankful. Be grateful for being a part of this amazing web of nature. Take a moment, take a deep breath, and contemplate that. Maybe the view from above would help you to do this. But there is a deep sort of spiritual side to Stoicism that we often neglect. And I think it really comes through in some of these readings to remember who we are as human beings, to use it, but also don't just use it, but use it to remember how amazing it is that you are here and where you are, and give thanks for that. Be grateful. Be in awe. So that wraps up the show this week. You can check out my website, SundayStoicPodcast.com. I have a blog on there that I post to occasionally. You can check me out on Patreon, www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. But please share episodes on social media, like them, give me a review on whatever platform you listen on. That way other people give the show a chance and they check it out. That would be really helpful. Meanwhile, contact me, SundayStoic@gmail.com, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember to seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review the Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com. And as Steve always says, carpe diem.